Imagine it. The Hellmouth is closed, the vamps are dusted, and the Scooby Gang is no longer patrolling the streets of Sunnydale. But here's the twist. While the supernatural threats may have faded away, the real drama was just getting started. Buffy the Vampire Slayer wasn't just a show. It was a pop culture explosion, launching its cast from cult status to household names, with more twists and turns off-screen than any Monster of the Week episode. Today, we're cracking open the crypt to reveal what really happened to Buffy's main cast after the credits rolled, and where they are now, in 2025. Get ready for behind-the-scenes secrets, wild career pivots, and some transformations even Willow's magic couldn't conjure up. Let's kick things off, of course, with the Slayer herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Back in the late 90s, Sarah was thrust into the spotlight, wielding wooden stakes and one-liners with equal finesse. She was America's badass sweetheart, the poster girl for girl power, and, let's not forget, the face of more than a few magazine covers. But what happened after she hung up her stake? Well, Sarah didn't just slay on screen. She pivoted into a surprisingly diverse career. We saw her pop up in cult classics like Cruel Intentions, which, yes, still gets referenced every time someone brings up iconic kisses in movie history. She became the queen of teen horror, starring in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and even tried her hand at daytime drama with All My Children, snatching up an Emmy early in her career. But here's where things get juicy. After Buffy, Sarah took a step back from the Hollywood grind, focusing on her growing family with husband Freddie Prinze Jr., the real 90s power couple. But she didn't stay gone for long. She popped back up in TV's Ringer and The Crazy Ones, and, because she's apparently allergic to staying still, she co-founded Food Stirs, a baking brand, and even authored a cookbook. In 2025, Sarah's got a whole new following thanks to her recent return to horror with a streaming series that's got major Buffy vibes. She's also become a go-to voice for nostalgia, appearing at conventions and serving up behind-the-scenes tidbits that fans can't get enough of. From Sunnydale to the boardroom, and back to our screens, Sarah's still slaying, just in new, unexpected ways. Now let's talk about the original brooding vampire heartthrob, David Boreanaz, aka Angel. He went from undead bad boy to spin-off superstar with his own series, Angel, which ran for 5 seasons and gave us even more of his trademark smolder. But David didn't stop there. He's one of the rare TV stars who managed to stay relevant decade after decade. After Angel, he jumped straight into the long-running forensic drama Bones, charming audiences as Special Agent Seeley Booth for an astonishing 12 seasons. That's right, David spent more time catching criminals than catching vampires. But don't think he's left his supernatural roots behind entirely. In 2025, David Boreanaz is starring in and executive producing a gritty new crime thriller, all while balancing family life and philanthropy. He's embraced his status as a TV legend. And if you ask him about Buffy, he'll give you the inside scoop, like the time he showed up to auditions thinking he was too old to play a love interest for a high schooler. Spoiler alert, the casting team thought otherwise. David's journey from brooding vampire to TV's most reliable leading man proves some stars really do get better with age. Speaking of transformations, let's move on to Alyson Hannigan, who brought Willow Rosenberg from shy sidekick to full-on witchy powerhouse. Alyson's journey is the ultimate Hollywood glow-up. After Buffy, she became a comedic force to be reckoned with, starring as the flute-toting Michelle in the American Pie movie franchise, and then as the endlessly quotable Lily Aldrin on How I Met Your Mother. That show ran for nearly a decade, and Alyson's comedic timing and warmth made her a fan favorite all over again. But did you know Alyson's also become the queen of family-friendly entertainment? She's hosted Penn and Teller, Fool Us, introducing magic to new generations, and she's a regular on the voice acting circuit, lending her talents to animated hits. In 2025, Alyson's balancing acting, voice work, and a steady stream of celebrity game show appearances, not to mention raising her 2 daughters. She's as relatable as ever, just with a dash more Hollywood sparkle. But did you know Alyson's also become the queen of family-friendly entertainment? She's hosted Penn and Teller, Fool Us, introducing magic to new generations, and she's a regular on the voice acting circuit, lending her talents to animated hits. In 2025, Alyson's balancing acting, voice work, and a steady stream of celebrity game show appearances, not to mention raising her 2 daughters. She's as relatable as ever, just with a dash more Hollywood sparkle. Next up, Nicholas Brendan, our beloved wisecracking Xander Harris. Nicholas was the heart of the group, the everyman among superheroes and sorcerers. But off-screen, his journey has been more of a roller coaster. After Buffy, he landed roles on shows like Criminal Minds and Kitchen Confidential, and even did a stint in theater. But the real story was happening behind the scenes. Nicholas has been open about his struggles with addiction and mental health, making headlines for both his challenges and his resilience. In recent years, Nicholas has focused on advocacy, speaking candidly about his recovery process and supporting others in the industry facing similar battles. In 2025, fans are thrilled to see him making a tentative but genuine comeback, appearing at conventions, working on indie projects, and reconnecting with the Buffy community. His story is one of survival and second chances, a reminder that even Scoobies have to fight their own demons sometimes. Of course, what would Buffy be without Cordelia Chase, the original Queen Bee of Sunnydale High? Charisma Carpenter made Cordelia unforgettable, turning what could have been a one-note mean girl into a beloved, complex heroine, especially after her move to Angel. After leaving the Buffy universe, Charisma remained a genre favorite, popping up in cult hits like Veronica Mars, The Lying Game, and the Expendables franchise. But let's spill some real tea. Charisma became an outspoken advocate for safe and respectful work environments in Hollywood, especially after going public with her experiences behind the scenes of Angel. Her candor sparked industry-wide conversations about power dynamics and accountability. In 2025, Charisma is a respected actress, activist, and podcast host, using her platform to champion women's voices and mental health awareness. She's embraced her legacy, and fans love her for it. And then there's James Marsters, the punk rock poet with fangs, Spike. When James swaggered onto Buffy in Season 2, he was supposed to be a short-term villain. But fans went wild, and suddenly, Spike was sticking around for the long haul, leather jacket and all. Off-screen, James is just as cool, trading in his fangs for a guitar. He's released several albums with his band Ghost of the Robot, and he's a regular on the Comic-Con circuit where fans still line up for hours to hear him spill behind-the-scenes stories, like that infamous peroxide incident that nearly fried his scalp. James has kept busy with guest spots on shows like Torchwood, Smallville, and Marvel's Runaways. In 2025, he's still rocking out, touring with his band, and even lending his voice to video games and animated series. Oh, and he's never too far from a Buffy reunion, often teaming up with fellow cast members for nostalgia-driven projects. Spike may be immortal, but James Marsters' career is proving to be just as enduring. Now let's shine a spotlight on Anthony Stewart Head, the ever-dapper Giles. The Watcher with the most British of accents, Anthony brought gravitas and warmth to the role, and fans adored his fatherly dynamic with Buffy. But here's the fun part. Anthony's career in the UK has been just as prolific as his time stateside. After Buffy, he starred in the award-winning comedy drama Little Britain, the Merlin series, and even popped up in the musical world, showing off those famous pipes in Repo, the Genetic Opera, and on the West End stage. Anthony remains a fixture in TV, film, and theater, and in 2025, he's hosting a popular British quiz show, acting in prestige dramas, and occasionally dropping Buffy Easter eggs in interviews. He's even written a memoir filled with juicy backstage stories and heartfelt reflections on his time with the Scoobies. If you ever wondered what happened to Giles after the apocalypse, rest assured, he's still mentoring, just in slightly less supernatural ways. Let's not forget Emma Caulfield, who made Vengeance Demon Anya one of the show's most unexpectedly hilarious and heartbreaking characters. Emma's comedic chops were undeniable, and after Buffy, she continued to shine in shows like Once Upon a Time and WandaVision, where her role as Dottie had Marvel fans theorizing for weeks. Emma's also been candid about her personal journey, including her battle with multiple sclerosis, which she revealed in a powerful interview. In 2025, Emma's become a champion for disability representation in Hollywood, all while juggling acting gigs and producing indie films. She's a regular guest at conventions and panels, known for her sharp wit and refreshing honesty. Fans love her for her candor. She's proof that sometimes the best heroes are the ones without superpowers. And rounding out the main cast, let's revisit Michelle Trachtenberg, who joined Buffy as Dawn Summers, Buffy's mysteriously inserted little sister, and the source of more than a few plot twists. Michelle was already a child star thanks to Harriet the Spy, but Buffy launched her into teen idol territory. After Sunnydale, she took on roles in Gossip Girl and Eurotrip, and even dabbled in voice acting. Michelle has kept a relatively low profile in recent years, but in 2025, she's quietly returned to the spotlight, producing documentaries and speaking out on mental health and childhood stardom. She's also teased a memoir with never-before-heard stories from the Buffy set that insiders say will blow the lid off some long-standing fan theories. So, from vampire slaying to personal struggles, family life to activism, the main cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer have all taken very different paths since their days in Sunnydale. Some have become Hollywood fixtures, some have stepped out of the limelight, and a few have found new ways to connect with fans, proving that while the Hellmouth may be closed, the legacy of Buffy is very much alive. In 2025, the Scooby Gang story is still being written, with as many surprises, comebacks, and revelations as ever. Subscribe for more content.